What's happening, boys?
Evening, gents.
Glad to be back.
Welcome back. We're now officially a week away from the start of the season, start of misery, tears, snotters, bed sheets, whatever else lies in store for Heart of Midlothian Football Club. We're looking forward to
That sounds like just next weekend.
it. What do you mean next weekend? That was me yesterday at full time. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a good break. Obviously, we're not going to touch on the Euros because we're a decent podcast and we're proper football fans that don't enjoy that chat, so we'll skip over that. Kev, what have you been up to for the last 2 and a bit months?
Okay, deal, mate. Flew 9.5 hours to Mexico, only for it to piss with rain for 2 weeks. So great. One of these things. Shit happens, eh? One of these things, mate. Can't control the weather.
Fantastic. It was the best outcome for all.
Exactly.
Ando, what's been happening?
I didn't fly 9.5 hours to Mexico. I had a couple of staycation visits over the last 2 months, and it's been brilliant, mate. Honestly, I've had an absolute whale of a time. And I'm just gutted that football's coming back. And don't know, feels like a letdown.
Well, we'll wait just now. We'll leave the letdown stuff till next weekend's podcast. We'll start the season brimming with optimism and confidence. Tam, speaking of happy clappers, how are we?
Mate. Can't wait for the season.
What
a season we're gonna have.
Livy have had a good few results in the League
They
Cup.
got put out, actually. I don't know if you know this, but got put out. It's been a sad day for all Livy fans, including myself. There you go.
Good, I hope it hurts.
I'd just like to clarify this. Now that they're out of the league, can we stop this patter? Is that fine?
No.
No, we'll never ever
Not until
stop
they're
this
out
part.
of existence will this patter stop.
You know what the worst thing is? It's like went into the community chat and everyone thinks I'm a Livy fan in that as well, and it's just fucking irritating, man. It's really annoying.
Magic.
You know how we
piss you off.
Up until that point, you'd probably been to more Livy games than you had been Hearts games, so you just have to live with that, I'm afraid. You, Brads and Shanks have to carry
the
that
last
around
game of
with you.
last season was a bit... it only just took over at that point.
Anyway, Corbett, it wouldn't be right if someone didn't ask you, how has the last 2 months been for you?
I've been having a whale of a time. I've been finding the most innocuous things to be angry about and letting the world know that I'm angry. It's just building up for the season coming.
He's fluent in German because he was spent the whole Euros in Germany. He loved it.
That was my warm up. I did enjoy England's demise. It was fun. I enjoyed Scotland's demise. I won't lie. Steve Clarke is an absolute bellend. But everybody knew that other than the Tartan Army. And now I've got loads of great things to moan about from pre-season before we've even kicked a ball. So But other than that, life's been good.
Class.
Being a full-time dad. Now I'm going back to being a Hearts dad.
Is that just looking after Kev, is it?
Yeah. Right. So we'll go through. We'll obviously there's quite a bit of stuff happened. There's been loads of sort of headlines in the Hearts world. We'll talk about new season. Obviously, Joe Savage has left his role. What that looks like. New kits. Again, we've released 3 new kits this season, and I wanted to talk to you about just a bit around sustainability, affordability as a football club. Should we be releasing free strips every single year? For example, if I wanted to buy my 2 girls all 3 kits, it would be about 270 quid that it would fleece me, plus season tickets. We've got 8 European games this season and stuff. I just don't know if it's the right look for the club, given that we are all about fan ownership and we've been at the forefront of many great initiatives and stuff that went on. We'll have a talk about it. Season tickets hospitality again rears its head, because obviously opening game of the season, we have Rangers at home last game of last season. We had trouble in hospitality, we had trouble in the Roseburn end. The club again boasting for everybody that'll listen how they're locking Old Firm fans out, yet sell hospitality tickets to them hand over foot. We're going to have at least 300-400 Rangers fans across the hospitality suites on Saturday. Is it really a lockout? For the trouble that it causes, is there a better solution? And then today, I think the League Cup finished, the Diddy Cup group stages that we don't play in finished, and I think we got Falkirk away in the League Cup. Talk about that. Then we'll preview Rangers opening game of the season on Saturday, Tynecastle, and then we'll do our season predictions. So we've obviously put in our community chat today and on Twitter, X, whatever it's called these days, our season predictions. So we're looking for your league finishes, where we'll finish in the league, our European points tally, which might be a bit hard today, but why not? It's a bit of a laugh. Hampden visits, not including the fact that Rangers are going to play their home games there. Player of the year, signing of the year, and then manager come the end of the season. Sound good?
Sure does.
Just before we get started, I wanted to give a shout out to Peter for the community chat. Obviously, Peter lost his dad a couple of weeks ago, so a shout out to Peter for all of us at the podcast. We hope you're all right. Hope you and your family get through, which is undoubtedly a really hard time. So we're all thinking of you, Peter. Hopefully you're doing all right.
Yep.
Knows where we are if we need to talk.
Exactly. We're always about. Right. Where you want to start? We should start. The club announced that Joe Savage has been working his 6-month notice. So from about Christmas time till now, he's now officially left the club. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Good, bad, and different?
A difficult one. I think I always look at the Joe Savage period through maroon tinted specs and think he done a pretty good job, but I don't know if that's just me glancing at it too quick. I'd really have to sit down and have a look at all the signings that happened under his era, whether I thought they were successful or not. I've not done a big enough deep dive on it, so for me, okay, fair enough, gets pass marks. I think that there's a few crackers in there that we're grateful for, but equally there's been a lot that didn't work out. But I think it's definitely better than what we had in the phase before. That's the one thing I can say with confidence.
What I would say, outside the signings though, he came into the club where it was a absolute shit mess. It was Craig Levein doing everything. He's now put the positions in place where other people's are in charge of different situations, and it's a lot more of a actual football club, and he's done well in there for my basis. He's not the one to sign all the players, so I'm happy with what he's done, and he goes with my thank for that.
I think Andrew makes a good point. I think that for me, when you look at, it's like anybody going into a position, like any manager and stuff, you look at what went before him and what went when he was there. I think in his tenure we've finished third, fourth and third. And you compare that to the guy that was doing it before him. We ended up in the championship. We had seasons in the fifth, sixth, etc. I think at one season we signed something like 29 players or something like that across Sounds the summer and the January transfer window. So in that sense, I think he's night and day compared to what went before him. But I think Andrew's right. We've had a few experiments in there. The link with Australia, but I don't know if it's been a good link, a bad link, and indifferent. It's hard to tell. Obviously, undoubtedly, we've had good performances from all of them, but yeah, could we have found people on these shores that could have played to the same level? I don't know. It's a hard one to answer. I think, Kev, the only thing that's really missing on his CV for me to tick all of the boxes of success since he come here was a real standout, like, bumper transfer fee for somebody. You know, we've been selling our players again pretty cheap. We've lost Alex Cochrane in this summer window for less than £1 million up front. It could potentially reach £1.3 million with add-ons. that for me is no really acceptable. I'd rather he left for nothing. I know that sounds completely daft, but it's the same stance I've got for Shankland. Their performances, their value to the team in terms of where we want to finish in the league are worth more to us than £1.3 million or £600,000 up front and then a few add-ons.
Yeah, I think, good on touching on that element, there's probably elements of also a trophy in there as well would have probably also given him a bit of a, part of a sign-off as such in regards to the 3 years that he's been there. He's definitely raised the bar in regards to where we were and before he came in. So from that side of things, yes. I think, again, the club have got to take a bit of responsibility as to why his position has not yet been filled. He walked, if it was a 6-month case that he was working 6 months before walking away into another role or whatever his plans were, why have the club not actually been doing something proactively to actually make sure that during this particular transfer window, there was a guy to actually come in and start that role? Seems very, very strange as to why that's not been taken up. But yeah, you're right. There's elements of the club just not yet being at the right level for additional sort of signing, passing on with players. Cochrane's a great example because it was discussed of 2 million back in January, but as you rightly say, the performances that Cochrane gave us between January and the end of the season definitely guaranteed us third place.
Yeah, I think to touch on two things there, I'm always of the opinion that winning trophies with Hearts is that's a wish thing, if you know what I mean. Like, we can't, if we went about judging everybody that's ever been involved with Hearts on trophies, what we've won 3 in our lifetimes. I'm 40 next year. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, everybody would be shite in our opinion based on trophy hauls or whatever. But I get what you're saying. I understand where we've been. But actually, if you look at how many times we've been to semi-finals and finals in those 3 years that he's been here, I think we've been to Hampden almost every year. So we've made progress. The next thing is obviously getting to the final or winning finals. And then you're right, you get rid of somebody prominent at the club who's been working a 6-month notice, then for them to leave, the club put 2 sentences on Twitter to say that he's left his role or whatever, which I found a bit poor given the relationship the club and him seem to have had and all that sort of stuff.
Stinks a bit, doesn't it?
Aye, just a wee bit. And then your point about it depends on who comes in next. If we have to wait 2 or 3 months, but we get a real decent sporting director and someone of calibre, then you say, right, fair enough. That's obviously the club didn't just want to bring somebody in for the sake of bringing someone in. But if we wait the amount of time that we wait now and then weeks go on and we announce Robbo as the new sporting director or somebody like somebody connected to the club that's been there or thereabouts and never really succeeded in that role anywhere else, then you question it to say, right, what we're doing. But I think that's
my concern. That's genuinely my concern.
Yeah,
somebody like Webster, too. Robertson, whatever it may be. And for all that everybody of a certain generation would love to see John Robertson back at the club in some shape or form, it's not really the right role for him as an individual.
Yeah. We've been down that road with sentimentality and
we still are.
Craig Levein and all that stuff. We still are with Craig Gordon right now, which we'll touch on later on. But I think from all of us at the podcast, Joe Savage has been amazing to us. He was always great with us. He jumped on all of the COVID calls or calls that we were doing over Christmas. He was always available. He'd always come and speak to us and stuff. So from our perspective, he goes with nothing but thanks for us. I think the club is in a much better place having had him at the club, and hopefully he goes on to do some good stuff. So yeah, thanks for pretty much everything, Savage. You've been some boy. Right. New kits. What's your thoughts on them?
What's your thoughts on them, Corbett?
No, it doesn't matter.
I'll start. I actually went to the shop yesterday and seen them in person, so I'm you know how much a happy clapper I am. The third one's only the only good one. The third one's the only good one. The others are two are pish, man.
We know how much of a happy clapper you are, but we also know how much of a tight bastard you are. So, you're never going to part with your hard-earned cash for a jersey.
Oh,
so,
of course
did you buy any?
Sam went to the club shop to buy the Inter Milan tops before a year ago.
On the discount rail.
I just went to the sale rail, and that was it, to be honest. I know, to be fair, I'd never wear any kits to anything, so I would never buy them. I actually just went to get my season ticket sorted because I went on a stag do and lost my wallet, so I lost my season ticket. But that's a different story.
My genuine question that we always have is we get the anniversary kit last year so unbelievably right, but yet we get so close to the 1996 home kit, which the home top's based on, is how can you get it so unbelievably wrong? Like, the design's there, you can look at it. So I don't know if it's an Umbro thing or whatever, but the tops they're all right. They're just a bit boring. I find Umbro really boring all the time anyway. But my point to use was about, one, why do football clubs know? I know that that Umbro pays a fee to sponsor us, etc., but I can't help but think, why do the clubs just not look after these things themselves? And how hard would it be to look after your own manufacturing of kits and sell them yourself? Then you can dictate price, you can dictate design, you could even lead the way for fans and have fans heavily involved in how they want the kits to look. And then it means that season after season, or whenever it is you release new kits, you're going to have a bestseller because fans have played a part in creating it.
The risk is with that is that you end up in a scenario like Rangers, where you have some Castori or however you say it, absolute bullshit, where their kits should be good, but it's a classic example of what happens when they're absolutely crap, especially over the last 3 or 4 years. That would be the danger. Is that
I wonder if there's like a legal thing where clubs have to have a sponsor. I don't know if it's maybe like a league rule or something. Potentially, they have to have an official sponsor or a make or something. I don't know. It was just something I was thinking
about, right, to be honest, because
the other day.
Well, we've made merchandise and stuff like that. The cost that goes into it. Surely, as much as Umbro are paying us, you can make that back and heavily profit in terms of what they put out. It's a weird one.
So the other, like I said in the intro there, the other question I wanted to ask was just about affordability. So we've released free kits again this year. The Foundation of Hearts are about to release a kit with all our names on it again, so that'll be 4 kits. Obviously, we are also in our 150-year anniversary again, so I don't know if the club we released the 150th anniversary kit last season. I don't know if the club we're not wearing it at all this season. Like, I just don't. I keep, like I said, I keep thinking about it from now. I know I am very lucky in life compared to other people. I can't help but think about families if you've got 3 boys or 3 girls or four kids or whatever, and they're all football and Hearts daft. How do you even afford it? Do you know what I mean? The pressure you must be under to get all free kits, or at least a new kit and shorts and socks and stuff. You're pushing 50-60 quid every kit. Like, even if I was to buy Macy, who's 3 or 4, a kit, it's 45 quid.
Right.
It's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Times 3, times every season. I don't know if the club need to just have a wee look at. I get it. It obviously makes money for the club. I totally and utterly appreciate that. I understand we're in a world where we have to make money, and unfortunately that means that us fans, we're the consumer. It's going to be us that feel it in the pocket. But I just don't know if the club need to have a wee think about that scenario. It's not sustainable to be releasing free kits every single season and putting people under. I know there's no obligation to buy it. I understand that as well, but I don't know. I don't know why I thought about this season, but I did just think it's getting a bit.
3 is a bit much.
The cost of kits.
Also, add in the 2 goalkeeper kits you can also buy. There you go.
Yeah, but no one's going to do all 5.
Yeah.
Aye.
Options there.
Yeah. And there'll be a poppy kit out in November, October, November time.
Aye, poppy kits. the match worn kits as well. Get Ewan Henderson's match worn kit versus Arbroath for 445 bangers.
It's no. This isn't just a unique to us thing. Like there's the same for it's the same for every club in Scottish football. Even if you were to go to Trinent Juniors, like they're still gonna. They'll charge a ridiculous amount for their replica kits if you can even buy one. Then like it probably takes something to change, but then you've hit the nail on the head. It's such a good money spinner because Umbro pays a fee. The markup on these things, like what does it cost? Right, you can go and buy like this without any branding on it. Right, like Umbro shirt costs you what £2.50, £3, right? And then you're sticking a 55, 60 quid label on it. It's a license to print money, and it will always be like that.
Right.
Always has been like that.
Yeah, which is why I kind of think what prohibits clubs doing it themselves and cut the middleman it.
Like just
I mean, like you looked at our own distribution, our
easiness, isn't it?
Design.
It could just be that, you know.
Aye. Well, potentially, Kev. That's right. That's true. It was just a wee thought I'd had. I actually don't mind the third kit with the logo on it, the actual sponsor on it, the Stella Artois one looks.
Which one's the third one?
Without it,
is that
the sort of purpley and maroon one.
The Granny's nicotine fag fingers.
No, I know my ma's nicotine stick fingers. No.
But that was the thing, right? Back in the day, you only ever had a home and an away kit, and it was always designed as that there would be with a home and an away, it just wouldn't clash. The fact of actually have an additional third shirt. Who also plays in nicotine yellow? Nobody.
Well, you look at the home and away kits are behind me. Do you know what I mean? And I'm shuddering to think there's been about 5 rows added to that in the last 4 seasons. I'll need a brand new print it.
A brand new what?
But I just think that there's so many good things about the club right now. You know, we seem to be at the forefront for lots of like the vanity type projects that we talk about all the time of making sure that we look like the right type of business. And I just don't know if free kits every single year at 50, 60 quid a pop is the right way to be doing it. Now, I understand that Ando is absolutely right. This is not a criticism of Heart or Midlothian Football Club. It happens at every single football club. But that's not a reason for Hearts maybe to have a wee look at what do we do? How do we make it sustainable and accessible for kids and families to buy the stuff? Because that's one of the last dying good things of Scottish football when you look south of the border in England is that, you know, we're still a community league, we're still heavily involved in our communities, it's still accessible to the working classes, etc. You look down south with our franchise teams now, you know, in a tourist league, that's what happens. And I just don't, our game up here isn't fashionable enough for us to have that happen to us. Like, do you know what I mean? We need everybody on board and able to do it. So it was just something that I'd thought about.
To add to that as well, if they'd carried on using the same third kit as last year, this season, no one would have had a single complaint because it's a belter.
Well, that was actually going to be my next point, Tam. So very well done. Seamless. It's like we've been training and practicing over the pre-season as to how to be a much more professional podcast. Yeah. So well done. Well done, Thomas. It's the club's 150 year anniversary this year.
Is it?
Have we done enough? Like genuinely, have we?
There's lots of things they could have done better.
Made a gate.
Made a top.
Had a game against Spurs.
We released. We unfurled that big red flag thing against the Aberdeen member. And then our game with Leyton Orient was weird. It was great. Like the scenes, the thing at Haymarket and walking to the ground and stuff was brilliant. But like, I don't know, just felt like
it's a weird one, that, because there probably is an opportunity for us to do a lot more, but the way that the club would probably think about it, and again, this may be me going a little bit off on a tangent here, is see previous point that you just made about not wanting to like overburden supporters with, you know, loads of merch and all that sort of stuff. Yes, we probably could have done a lot more, but whatever the club could have done would probably have been a chargeable thing. In order,
yeah, I just mean more like, so when Rangers did their 150 year, they had like a full stadium display where it was 15 minutes before the game and they had 2 or 3 different types of tifo displays. There was fireworks, all of that sort of stuff. Like, I don't even think we've had a game where, like, I think they played in a kit that was a commemorative kit as well for a game at home. We've never done that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we using the third kit as a third kit. Like, it's not like we picked a game and said, right, I think Big Hearts Day, they wore the white kit because it was Big Hearts Day or whatever. But I don't know. It just feels like it's maybe, we're 4 months away now from it being the end of our 150th celebration. I don't know, it just feels like it's went a bit like, let's just get on with it.
Absolutely fair.
For myself and anyone else that is listening that wasn't there, I wasn't obviously in the country for the Leyton Orient. What was that march like? What was the was it like a gala day or what? Like, what was going on?
No, it was like great, and I think the stuff they've done at the Haymarket Memorial's beautiful. It looks amazing, and it's something that the club are massively proud of, as we all should be. But again, that was a game to mark the relationship between football clubs that sacrificed, and went there. It's not a game for our 150th anniversary. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know, it feels a bit muted. We've done a bit of a gate at Tynecastle. I know there's been talk for ages now about the old Heart of Midlothian Football Club PLC sign is being rejuvenated to hang above the Gorgie. Like, but that's been hanging about for 2 years, 3 years. That conversation of what was happening was coming. I don't know why I expected maybe a wee bit more to have been done. Now I know that there's the Fringe show right now that's celebrating 150 years of Hearts, and there's been various like nights with special guests and stuff held by the club, but I don't know, it feels like it's kind of just flew
What we
past.
should have done is like go and grab a Hibs team and just go for a fight on the Meadows or whatever, to celebrate the absolute first game that happened. Because first game I think was versus Hibs on the Meadows, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that's right. If it's not, someone will correct me. But just go for an organised battle against those bunch. A lot more that we could have done.
So that brings me on to one of the other points I was wanting to talk to you about, was obviously the foundation of Hearts and the role that it plays in the club. Obviously, they're a massive, massive part of what we do, but I don't know where or how they engage with the next generation of people. Like, I think their big plan for this season and next season was to get almost double the amount of pledgers that they have. They really want to engage with like the next generation of fans coming through, and I don't know how it's hard to always bring it up because I don't know if sound like I'm critical of them, and I get to work closely with them through obviously some of the other project stuff that I work, and I don't know, I just feel whenever I speak to them or I'm with them that we need an injection of youth or something in there, because it's older gentlemen or older people that volunteer their free time, and their ideas are all the type of thing that my dad would enjoy. But changing the big tack this season is changing the tagline from pledger to owner. Like, let's be honest, right? How many of you tell anybody that you're the owner of a football club?
That's absolutely shite, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't even go with that. That's embarrassing.
Like, so we're 4 Hearts fans that travel everywhere watching Hearts, right? And we are in a financial position where we can pledge. You don't have to say whether you pledge or you don't pledge, right? But we're in a situation where we can. I have never, in the however many years I've pledged, walked up to anybody in my life and said, "Oh, by the way, I own a football club." And I never ever would. And if somebody walked up to me and said, "By the way, I own a football club," I'd slap it. Like, get a life. Get a life. Who actual cares? Do you know what I mean?
Mad that Kev's got in his bio. Like, that's
but that's the thing. So how do we change it? Like, genuinely, because it ties in with what we're about to talk about: season tickets, the hospitality stuff. Like, so I know when it's Sunday night, come Saturday, behind the goal against Rangers are going to be empty. Right, there are going to be waves of seats empty in the Wheatfield, the Gorgie, the main stand, because again, there are people that have legacy bought season tickets because it's their way of pledging money to the club to save them, but don't ever come to the games because they live in America or Japan or wherever they do. And I just don't know how the Foundation of Hearts get to that next generation.
They need to actually have somebody. It always tends to be people of a generation that are on that higher board level. They need to actually have a position which I think actually operates with a younger actual clientele. It always appears to me anyway that it's people that are in that role within the foundation are guys who have successfully, guys and women and everyone else that are successful elsewhere in their own professional career that are also on the board. But they don't actually link at all with anybody, who are younger than that particular age group. And that's what they need to do. Because if you can engage with a younger age group, all of a sudden you start getting maybe 3 or 4 people of a younger age, then that 4 turns to 6, turns to 10. Then you start to see a change in the way in which you actually structure the actual organisation as itself. That's just, a personal thought on it.
The only Kev is kind of right, but he's also kind of wrong in the sense that you don't really need to focus on the age of it all, right? What you need is someone that is good at marketing strategy. So someone needs to put an advert in the paper, or go and like whatever, but get some sort of proper digital marketing strategist, and I've worked with enough of them in my time. I've done the job for a while myself. Then, if you get the digital marketing strategy right, then the age thing will take care of itself as well. Because if you're looking at marketing strategy, you're on social media, you're on different platforms where all these young people spend their time. So naturally, they will sort of gravitate around it. What they need is just to spend a bit of time and money getting the right person into a role that can do that sort of thing. And looking at big corporations is the way forward.
You're right, but herein lies the problem is that they don't know. I don't think anybody in the Foundation of Hearts gets paid a full-time wage. I don't think they pay anybody a salary.
Do they not?
So
no.
There's the problem.
Everybody that does it out of the kindness of their heart. And that's amazing. Like, it's great, and nothing that I've just said there is to diminish anything those people do, because they deserve huge amounts of credit, and everybody should be so unbelievably grateful for the work that they do, because if they weren't doing it, nobody'd be doing it. And there dies the whole dream of the Foundation of Hearts. But you are right in what you're saying. I think the problem why age plays a part in it now is because they're like echo chambers. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're talking to their demographic, So again, you're in a room where there's maybe 10 of like-minded people, and someone says, right, I think the idea to get us from X pledgers to the next pledgers is to change from saying that you're a pledger to actually you're the owner of a football club, and they all go, brilliant, that's a great idea. And then it's like, no, it's not. Like, not because no one cares. Yous have played your part because you were there from the start to where it is now, and you're insanely proud of what you achieved, as you should be, and that's amazing. And you'll be happy to go around and tell people, oh, I'm an owner of a football club, because you'll be saying that to other people that are happy to say, oh, by the way, I'm the owner of a football club. But Saturday we'll be in Lucky's or Middletons or wherever we are. No Middletons, because that would be way too far away for that would be way too far away for where you were going. But you'll be in a pub or club somewhere in and around Gorgie, sitting with your mates. And if one of your mates walked up and went, boys, I don't know if you know, I'm the owner of a football club, there isn't a single person that would go, oh, really? Tell me more. They go, shut the fuck up, mate. What are you talking about? That's embarrassing. Sit down. And that's... So I was part of the marketing thing for the Foundation of Hearts Day coming up. It's one of the first home games of the season. I won't give away what what their plans are or whatever, and hope that it's a massive success and drives pledgers. But one of the ideas that they have, honestly, if they go ahead with it, will drive people away for it. And I use this when I speak to them all the time. I go back to when I worked for Levi's and talk about Levi 501's vision years ago to be like, we are struggling as a business because the people that wore them in 1970, 1980 that were cool, young, trendy and hip are now 20 and 30 years older and are now stopping their kids buying 501s because they see their dad and mum wearing 501s and go, I'm not wearing that. That's what my ma and dad wear. That was cool 30 years ago. And now that's the problem that they have, as if they pitch to the dads and the mums and the aunties and the uncles of a certain age with the ideas and they go, amazing. Well, they're the ones that are already pledging and locked in. But what that does is it takes all the nieces, nephews, kids, young folk coming up. They'll go, I'm not doing that. It's embarrassing. My ma's got, I'm an owner of a football club on her Facebook page. They'll never, ever, ever, ever do that. So we need to think about it. Like, I genuinely, if they're listening, you know that this comes from a place of trying to help you. We just need to think of ways in which we can get more ideas to them and help and support them. So, you know, if you're interested in being a part of it or have ideas, get in contact with us. You can get in contact with us on Twitter. You can email us, whatever it is, or put it in the community chat, and I'll take it to the next time I'm at one of their marketing meetings. Because the more voices and ideas we have that kind of push them towards changing their mindset, I think the better it is for the club, because we need the next generation to pledge or the Foundation of Hearts dies. So there we go. Right. Will we cover hospitality? Nah, we did it already. First, said the club, stop shouting for the rooftops that you're locking Old Firm fans out and then selling them tickets to the Gorgie Suite and the Euro Lounge and Strongbow Lounge. It's pointless. All right, you're no locking them out. You're keeping them out the away end and charging them 160 quid for a ticket in hospitality.
And then we'll speak about it next Sunday as well. So it's fine.
We will talk about it because we will. Because again, I don't know if we covered it when we played Rangers last time, but at least 60% of the hospitality in the Gorgie Suite were Rangers fans. You had East Calder Rangers Supporters Club on Twitter and Facebook saying how they were at the captain's table, how they'd bought the captain's table. They were the same people that were on the pitch after the game, posting pictures with Shanklin saying, Rangers, do what you need today. They were the ones singing in hospitality, celebrating in hospitality, and I know that at least 6 tables in hospitality for Saturday are Rangers fans because they've messaged me to tell me that they're in there. So again, you just have the club prioritising making money over the safety of their own fans, because that's just going to cause bother on Saturday. It will. So there we go.
Yeah, right, laugh at least.
Right. Well, not for me. I have to try and stop 175 gadgets for going up 5 rows.
It'll be funny for me watching for us the stand parallel.
Let them do it, man. Let them do it.
No, but like, you're right, Ando, but all jokes aside, right? Someone goes up and slaps somebody in a football stadium, they're looking at 2 years in the jail. Do you know what I mean? And that's not fair. That's not fair, because that shouldn't happen. Do you know what I mean? Where they shouldn't be in our end. There isn't a designated away end, they should be in there. And the fact that they're in our end and don't behave, they think it's okay to sing and celebrate and all that stuff, shows you the mentality of where we're at. And if somebody, like you said, if we were in the vicinity and somebody jumped up in Section G and started celebrating or singing a Rangers goal, you know they'd get slapped. Do you know what I mean? But the CCTV cameras there, the police won't do anything to you in the stadium. They'll wait for a month and they'll kick through your door down and you'll get 2 years in the jail in a football ban in order. So it's not fair. It's not fair to put home fans under that sort of situation. Right. Falkirk in the League Cup. Thoughts? We're getting John McGlind.
This has a 4-0 pumping written all over it. It just does.
For Hearts,
right?
aye, for Hearts, class. I agree.
Yeah, aye. No, I'm not even joking.
You're not? No, I agree.
No, this has Falkirk 4, Hearts 0 written
all
over
no,
it.
I was meaning the opposite way, but I said.
They still got a plastic pitch.
Aye.
Doesn't matter. They'll shag us.
Holy fuck, man. Shut up.
Tam's still buzzing because we only lost 3-0 to Fleetwood. Do you know how good Fleetwood are? Charlie Adam is their manager.
Charlie Adam, man. He's experienced this fuck.
He's bloody teeth like a row of condemned houses. He's it's like there's like nah. To hell with him and him.
Right.
Be a good away day though, to be honest.
It will be a good away day. I'll give you that.
An evening though, won't it? It'll be a Wednesday night or something like that.
It'll be a
Tuesday or Wednesday night game.
No, it's for the weekend of the 17th, 18th. So it will be the weekend, but
seriously, we'll still take a decent crowd there. Right. So we actually have a game to look forward to. Preview Rangers on Saturday, Tynecastle opening game of the season. Sam, what's your overriding feelings for Saturday?
I've been looking forward to it for the last 6 weeks, and then I've spoken to you for the last 6 weeks, so I'm scared because I'm always of the mindset that pre-season doesn't matter and it's all fitness exercises, but as a man that's been to more games this pre-season than me, you've made some good points in regards to shape, tempo, fitness.
No, and I think that's the thing that's always missed in these arguments is what you just said is right. That is exactly what pre-season is. They are exercises. That's all they are. So results mean absolutely nothing. They don't mean a single thing. But you have to live in reality. All right. As Paulo Sergio said when we played Hibs, if you think that losing games piles pressure on the team that you're playing, then by all means continue to lose games. And if you think that losing games 3-0 to League Two opposition do nothing to the confidence, I would say that you're mental. Losing football matches, no football team enjoys that, right? It's irrelevant whether you think differently or not. There is, as you well know, I've been around football players for the last 15 years. I can tell you that none of them go off a park having been beat, gone, oh, it was just an exercise and getting minutes in the leg. That doesn't happen. So you are right. Results don't matter. What mattered were the performances, and I don't care who you are, how you want to argue about it. It's no pant wetting. It's no nothing. The performances against Leyton Orient, against Spurs, first half maybe aside, and what we've seen on Saturday are unacceptable in all levels. There was nothing in any of those games, minus maybe the 45 minutes against Spurs, that did anything to fill me with any form of confidence.
Agreed. To be honest, the one thing I'd caveat that with is Rangers seem to be having just as tough a pre-season, so it might just be a very good, exciting game on both sides, put it that way.
So what Rangers have lost to Birmingham?
Yep. Drew against Berlin, yes, then Union Berlin, but aye.
Aye, all right.
Could be off Man U as well.
Man U, aye.
Be off Man United. So, but Andrew, we've spoke about it in depth in the community chat. I was at Leyton Orient. It was shambolic, to say the absolute least. The shape, completely and utterly mental. I get it was the first pre-season match that we've played, so you're going to expect differences of things, but what worries me is that we're a year on from last year, so this should be a well-oiled machine now. This should be little tweaks, little changes to the system, slipping in a player here, replacing a player there. It should be well-oiled, and you should start to see, oh, this is what we're going to try this year. I like the way we looked here. I like the tempo, the movements, the shape of play, all that sort of stuff. And maybe I'm a pant wetter, but I haven't seen anything this pre-season that's filled me with confidence.
Well, I'll take your opinion on it, because if I'm honest, the only part I've seen of pre-season was the Leyton Orient game. I was suckered into buying it on PPV, and I turned it off after 15 minutes because, to your point, I thought that this is something that probably shouldn't ever have even been broadcast. It was a nonsense. Like, we could have pulled 11 versus 11 and had more of a structure about it. But that aside, not going to criticise it too much. I've just not seen enough. But there's a good point you make that it should be a case of, right, you take one player out, you put one player in. You're not redefining the whole structure, the whole form, the whole organisation of the team. You're just not doing that. You're only just removing little bits here and there. And to your point, it should be a well-oiled machine. But
yeah,
if it hasn't been like that, then fine. Then I just wish it wasn't Rangers we were playing on Saturday. I would rather we started off with a lesser quality team, right? And full disrespect to them, someone like Dundee, right? Let's start off with them at home, right? Someone that you know that on paper you could easily beat, but what happens when you actually go out and do it? Rangers is a big unknown for me because I've got quite a few Rangers pals. I was talking at length to one of them on Thursday on a call at work, and he is absolutely shiting himself going to Tynecastle next Saturday. And I'm like, really? What? Why? Like, and again, he hasn't seen what we've seen, and that always sets me on edge. That when if the opposition fans, and again, he's not going to be like a cross section of the support. He's just one guy's in his opinion. But if Rangers are in some sort of scenario where they're fearful of coming to Tynecastle, that's when they will ultimately be probably at the most fucking deadly and absolutely brush us aside. And if you tie that in to what you've just said about how no organisation, no structure, no nothing there to cling on to, I don't know. Well, I'm a bit frightened.
Kev, I look at the fact that we had one of our best seasons in a long, long time last season. We did ridiculously well November till the split, going toe-to-toe with Celtic and Rangers in terms of points tallies, etc. We played Rangers 6 times last season and never bet them once. Yeah, we now go into a new season, and again, like what Ando said, they're going to be they're terrified because they think that we're better than what we probably are at this point, and that's what worries me. Is pre-season is about building to the start of a season, and we're sitting here clinging on to a good 45 minutes against Spurs where we didn't score any goals. Craig Gordon saved a penalty and we went in 1-0 down at half time. Like, what's your thoughts?
I'm in the same sort of boat as Ando, is the fact that I've not really paid much attention. I never do to pre-season games. However, what is being glowing in everybody's assessment of our games that we have played are, A, as you've said, no shape. There's no real, which I think that, you've lost Cochrane. Okay, Penrice, can't say I've ever, seen the lad enough to actually have any real thoughts on him, but don't really think that he's going to be in a position to actually maintain that particular left back role. So you put Kingsley there, but you put Kingsley there, and that's his position. Then you place that sort of centre back at an actual loss as well, because Rowles is not that player. The only thing you can say is that Kent then comes into the centre if you're going to play with a back three. But again, we have no idea as to what that team is going to look like on Saturday. We don't know, is it a back three? They're going to play a 4. They're going to play a 5. There's not been enough games. There's not been enough understanding as to what each person's role within the team actually is, going by all accounts of, as I say, little bits of highlights here, conversations and interviews that I've seen with Naismith, and as I say, a lot of the talk from yourselves and others within the community chat.
Well, the interview with Naismith on Saturday puzzled me more than anything else, where he said that we planned on letting them have the ball because we wanted to see how we would be when opposition that where we didn't have the ball. We're playing the Dog and Duck League against Fleetwood Town, League 2. I think that Mark Wright or whatever he was called, and Dorking FC or something, we're playing in that league. at one point. Do you know what I mean? Like they're like hashtag United or whatever they're called. It is absolute dog and duck stuff. It's terrible. And the idea was to let them have the ball, see how we coped. Why is the mentality do what Celtic and Rangers do? Go play our game. Go impose our game on someone and see how they react to it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than trying to be too fancy. And that's what bugs me, Tam. And the thing is, Saturday, it's all in the players' hands, right? They go out a bit like, it reminds me of the championship season under Robbie, COVID, all that stuff. We were pretty rubbish in pre-season, didn't look very good, and then obviously we flattered to deceive a bit in the League Cup as well, and then opening league game of the season, we smashed Dundee 6-2 at home and played brilliantly, full tempo, full pace, full urgency. The club, like the detractors like myself, were shut up instantly if we get that performance on Saturday. If we see that we're flat again, no real tempo, because again, like Tam, would you be able to confidently predict the starting 11 on Saturday, what shape we're going to line up in?
Simple answer is no. I honestly couldn't tell you what the starting lineup would be, what the shape would be. What I would say is I have to feel finishing the game with a back three yesterday, and then after Naismith's comments about how you couldn't trust the team to play their own game or whatever he said, or it was something along those lines, that's maybe why they made the change in the second half. Even with that, I still don't know. Like, I know Kev mentioned about left back. Is Kingsley even played a game in the friendlies? Is he injured?
No, only came back to training. Only came back to training on Thursday.
So we're pretty much settling on Penrice to play left back. Other than that, I honestly don't know. Yeah,
we'll play a back five on Saturday.
100%. I think you're right.
They'll play Kent, Rowles, and the new guy at the back,
Taylor.
And they'll play Taylor and Penrice as wing backs.
Yeah,
is the way I see it. But again, you shut everybody up by going and winning on Saturday, right? Then everything that's went before it is in the bin, and everybody goes on confident and happy where we're at. Lose on Saturday, and then you've got every right to start digging through some of the comments that we've heard. Like, we went to Spain and didn't play a single game in Spain. Now, Stephen Naismith in one interview said that was the plan. That's what they wanted. They just wanted to do it as bonding and warm weather training and get their fitness up and all that stuff. And then in another interview, he said that they struggled to get teams to play them over there, and they didn't get the teams that they wanted to play. He said that he wanted to play 7 pre-season friendlies. We've played 4. Heading into there, and then you have to look at things that I know we talked about before, but the lengthy time between games. We came back, played Partick Thistle in a public park in a bounce game, then didn't play anybody until we played Leyton Orient, which was at least 2 weeks. We then played Spurs 3 days later, and then went 11 days between 90 minutes. I know we played these 2 random simultaneous matches of 75 minutes versus Burnley, which was clearly just an exercise for Burnley coming back to pre-season, and we said we would get involved in it. But we went 11 days between Spurs and Fleetwood, and now we're going to go this full week to play Rangers. Like, sorry. Last season they got a bye for how shambolic pre-season was, because Robbie Neilson would have planned the pre-season. He left. Naismith would have scrambled to try and get it together. Plus we had the whole bring your dad to work stuff with McAvoy there and over his shoulder and all that stuff. I think the fans are well within their right to have expected better this season, for it to have been a bit more coherent, to have a bit better of a plan. And if we win on Saturday, like I said, that shuts everybody up. If we lose on Saturday, or we fail to perform on Saturday, because let's be honest, right, we have to go back to where we always say when we play Celtic and Rangers. Celtic and Rangers are miles better than everybody in the league. Even Rangers at their weakest are better than us. So again, you're looking at performance on Saturday. If we put in a performance on Saturday and lose, fine. I think we've all been there enough as Hearts fans to say fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Like the 3-3 game, the last game of the season there, you know, if we'd maybe finished 3-2 to Rangers at the end, but by the end of the game we were pummeling them and they were holding on and they managed to win. folk probably go away if they're not that bothered. They'd have been happy that we'd got a performance. But if you get beat by being sloppy, conceding the goals that we're conceding, which are embarrassing, and then folk will start to really go through the calls as to what they've seen in pre-season, and it ramps up the noise of, yeah, that wasn't good enough. So, Ando.
Is there an argument to maybe say, and I don't know how you feel about this, and I know my thoughts on it right away, but I'll not muddy the water. Why are, just by virtue of the fact that we're involved in European competition, we're excluded from the Bakerfoyle Cup until the last 16 or whatever, would it have been better if we had been included in that from the get-go? So we'd have at least 3 competitive games, and the pressure that goes along with that in the build-up to the season actually starting, because like it's fine in any other season, maybe in future seasons when the UEFA coefficient isn't as good as it is, and like neither us or Rangers or Celtic are having to worry about those games. I get for Kelly and St Mirren slightly different, but like if we're not having to be involved for a good couple of weeks, we could easily be involved in that game, in the competition at that stage. Sorry.
I don't think we benefit from playing in the League Cup, if I'm being honest with you. But what we would benefit from are more games, and I suppose you could maybe argue that Fleetwood and Leyton Orient, we should be looking to go and win those games anyway. But a game against East Fife and a game against Alloa or something, a couple of ones where you can score a few goals, get a bit of confidence up, all that sort of stuff definitely makes a difference. I said it in the community chat earlier. If you think that Aberdeen and Hibs, even though they lost at Kelty, aren't going into their games on Saturday with a bit of confidence, having scored 5 twice, 4 at home, Aberdeen won every single game, I think, they're scoring goals. Like, surely I know we take our maroon tinted glasses off, and I can be negative about stuff, but come on, people can't be that stupid. If you were to sit here right now and say, what would you have rather start the season, lose 3-0 at Fleetwood or win 4-0 against, I don't know, Elgin or whoever the hell they were playing, you pick winning 4-0 against Elgin, right? Because it's a
100%.
no-brainer, yep. Right? So I don't, but competitive games now in the League Cup, no, but a few games against a couple of ringers to get the confidence up when they've went amiss.
More meaningful games, yeah. Aye. And like I'm also, just while we're on this subject, I'm not a big one for going away. I get the hot weather training camp because we don't know ultimately where we're going to be. Like, we could be sent to fucking Beitar Jerusalem or whatever, the Maccabi Tel Aviv, some sort of mental place, but the likelihood is you probably won't. So do we really need to go to a hot weather training camp? Like, to your point,
I don't mind that though. I think it's quite good for the whole bonding of the squad.
Well, actually, I agree with that, but I actually think what they're trying to prepare the players for is, I said this last time and I'll say it again, right? We're Man City, Man United, Celtic, Rangers, all these teams that play year in, year out in Europe. They sign players that play year in, year out in Europe. They understand what they're signing up for. Blair Spittle will have a wife and kids probably, and all the same responsibilities that we. If you think football players didn't come home after training and have their wife saying, fucking, where have you been? Like, why can you not pick the kids up? Or how can you not go to Tesco? Or
get the fucking grass cut.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't think that stuff happens, then you're deluded, all right? They have all the same stuff that we have. So I think the Spain stuff is to get them used to being away from their families.
Yeah.
Used to staying in hotels, used to performing to their highest level when they're not in their own house, because we're playing in Europe until maybe January. We get 8 European games, 4 of them are away from home. So they'll be away on the Wednesday, not back to the Friday. But they won't see anybody on the Friday, and when the day they're probably knackered and want to go to their bed, right? Because they'll have a game on the Sunday. That takes a huge strain. Any of us now, like, some of us have kids, some of us didn't. But if you went into your other half right now and said, by the way, see this week, don't wake me up on Thursday because I've been travelling. Like, I want to lie in, I want a night, I want a day in my bed. She'd be like, no. Like, and that happens to football players.
Fair. Absolutely
fair. And again, schools, missing your kids, missing your family, being able to recover whilst you're sitting on flights. Do you know what I mean? Like, all that stuff, it plays a part. I've told you before about, well, obviously, when Scotty played with Rangers and he was going to Canada for his training camps, he was flying from the UK to Orlando for warm weather training, then going to Honduras, which is 5 hours behind where they are in Orlando, and then moving to Chile, which was 2 hours in front of Orlando, all that stuff, and then coming back to the UK, like jet lag and travel and time and stuff. And Burnley used to pay for him to travel up so that he could travel X amount of time lying down with compression pants on so that he didn't get cramp and injuries and all that stuff. All that stuff makes a huge difference. So got to Spain, getting used to being away from the family, getting used to know the people that you're in. That, I don't have anything against that. What I do have an issue with is that if you can't go, pre-season's all about getting minutes in the legs, getting them fit, getting them match sharp, getting your ideas across. Playing 4 games doesn't do that for me.
Not playing in Spain is genuinely, I think that
seems mental. So obviously we talked about what were we talking about before Tam had to go for a Tam? Pre-season.
Yes.
Pre-season. And no playing teams in Spain seems a bit a weird one.
Not had enough. It could have been better. That's it.
Aye, exactly. So then, Kev, what do you expect to see on Saturday versus Rangers? What would go? He's your starting 11.
So starting 11, I would definitely be looking at Clark has to start. So this whole element of Gordon and Clark and everything that's been ongoing in the background, Clark has to start. Simple as that. There's no other way around about it. I do think we'll probably start with a 5 at the back, which will include it'll be Taylor, Kent, Rowles, Penrice. I'm still not sure who will come in at that on the right hand side. I wouldn't be surprised to see Forrest in there. So that Taylor? Would be no, because I think what they'll do is I think they'll have Taylor as one of the 3 at the centre. So 3 centre halves and effectively Forrest as a wing back. Penrice is another wing back, but with the idea to bring them back in, because I don't think we've fixed that problem of right back at all.
Why are you not in charge, Kev? To be honest, man.
Why is that, mate? Tell me why.
I just don't agree with that. Have you seen Taylor? He's just an out and out freaking right wing back, man. I would agree that if you go Ogioke at the freaking right centre back.
Mate, I'm not doing any party tunes.
I don't want to say it again. I'm trying. Hokey cookie. Sorry.
I think. So, right, you're saying we're playing 5 at the back. Who's in the midfield for you?
I think you're going to have to find probably Devlin in there, just because, again, we don't have Benny's injured once again. Hoff is still injured. Supposed to be 2 weeks, but he's now, it's nearly, 6 months he's been out.
I know, and every week he goes by, he turns into more and more prime Zidane.
Exactly. I would expect to see Danda in there. I think Danda's a starter. And then Shanks has got to start, and maybe Vargas. But again, Vargas only got back into the country, last Wednesday, I think it was. So this is the thing. It goes back to what we were saying about, pre-season games. There's not been enough pre-season games to actually know what we're going to come out with on Saturday.
Tam, go on then, since you railroaded Kev's team. Geez your team then.
Apologies, Kev again. But no. I do think Clark, and then it'll be back 5. It'll be back 3 will be Ogioke. Is that his name? I keep saying it wrong. So Kent, and I actually think Halkett will play ahead of Rowles, to be honest.
Oh fucking Jesus!
I do think that. And then I think it'll be left back, Penrice, Taylor right wing back, and there's a reason Spittle played number 6 yesterday. So he'll be playing number 6 with Devlin and Dan down the 10. And then we've got, I agree, Shankland Vargas up top.
Ando, anything different?
I'll be honest. I've not seen enough, so I'm going to respectfully decline to just throw spaghetti at the wall and figure out what it fucking looks like what the two other lads have done. It's too early in the season for me. I don't know. What I am going to do though is I'm going to trust in Ward Gaffer and say that hopefully he gets it right on Saturday. It's a big one for me. I think it could definitely set the tone for the next month or 6 weeks. But I'm going to trust in him and say he knows what he's doing, because see, when we've been in tight spots before, let's be honest, more often than not he has kind of delivered. So I don't know is the short answer. I've not seen enough. I've not seen enough of Taylor, Vargas obviously just being back, Shankland, the whole thing. I wouldn't be I could just make it up. What's the point?
I think Barry Mackay will play on Saturday. He's played heavily in pre-season, so I don't know what that makes it look like for 5 at the back. I would say what I would like to see.
Go for it.
I like to see Clark in goals, obviously. Back 4. I'll go Kent and probably Rowells, because I can't see Halkett starting unless he's been at Scottish Slimmers all week. Penrice left back, Taylor right back. I'd play 4-1-3-2. I'd sit with someone sitting, so Devlin sitting deep. Then I'd play probably Mackay, Grant and Danda, and then Vargas and Shankland. I think whatever we do, we have to play with 2. Shankland needs legs. He needs someone. He needs someone up there round about him, because Shankland is fast in his brain and he's deadly, but he needs legs round about him. Someone to stretch defences and stuff. I think he needs that there. It's very interesting that I spoke to Joel Skedge yesterday about Spittle. He said that he spoke to folk at Motherwell, and they'd said about Spittle can only play in the 10 or he doesn't play, and we've not played him there once. We've got no intention of playing him that high forward. So we signed him because he was scoring goals from midfield last season, playing in the 10, and we're going to play him in the 6. It doesn't make any sense. Danda.
Is that though? We'll play him in the 6 while Benny and Hoff are out.
No, because when they were fit, they've played him there almost every game that he's played.
He's not been there, at all.
And then same with Danda. Danda was free assisting and scoring goals for Ross County, playing in a 10 free role type thing, and we're playing on wide left, wide right, etc. We don't let people play in the 10 and drift. It's not the way we play. So they'll have to solve that conundrum, because that's obviously going to impact us massively. Liam Boyce going from the 10 to number 27 kind of shows you where Boyce is going to feature in the new season. Grant is about the only thing I'm disappointed with in our business, because again, it's too early to tell how these players will settle in or play, but I would like is the midfield. For me, we've never improved it or moved it on to the next level. We're still arguing that Benny and Devlin are our best midfielders. We've been talking about that, or talking like that since 2021. We really need, for me, we should have been looking to try and improve that, because out of all the areas of the park, I find that our weakest point in the park. We haven't had a standout midfielder for a long, long time. So again, I would have liked to have seen that maybe some movement on there, but we'll wait and see. So before we
talking
go
to Grant though, Corbett, do you not think he should play deeper on the basis of how he played against Spurs? Because his performance in what you would class as a number 8 role, he was brilliant against Spurs in the first half.
Yeah, I've made my feelings.
I know, but
George Grant.
I know you think him as a number 10 and that's what I'm just saying. I felt he done that role better than we've seen in a long time, even a Neuenhoff or who gets rave reviews type thing. So yeah.
George Grant's stats back up that George Grant is a very good player for Hearts, but he again gets asked to play all over the shop.
Yeah, exactly. So, wide left and everything.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see. Right, we've talked about our starting 11s. Might as well do our predictions before we go on and finish it on our season predictions. So, Tam, what is your score prediction first of the season for Hearts v Rangers at Tynecastle?
I've still not even decided. I've had all day to think about it, and I'm going to go 1-1.
Who's scoring for Hearts?
Shankland, probably.
And Desser's going to continue his goal scoring streak against Hearts and score his 8th goal against Hearts in 7 games.
Either that or Tav, because he always scores against us as well. So nah.
Or Scott Wright, because he always scores.
Well, there's a list of players. They could bring Morello also for this 2-year stag do in Brazil or whatever it is, and he'd still score against us. Kev,
dig up John Gregg and he'll score.
I'm going to be less optimistic and 2-0 Rangers.
Okay. Ando?
Oh, it's a stick on, because I'll be there.
Yeah.
Heart Midlothian 0, Rangers 4.
Okay. Well, I said in the community chat when everybody was happy clapping and coming for me that Fleetwood would beat Hearts comfortably, and I said that Rangers would beat Hearts comfortably, and the one's already happened yesterday, so I'll say it will be 3-0 Rangers. I hope to be absolutely proven wrong. I would love nothing more than to have it rammed in my throat. And as I said in the community chat, you come after me, you can hashtag get it up you Corbett, whatever you want if we win on Saturday. I cannot see it. Right, Tam, we put to Twitter today for our season predictions. We were looking for league finishes, Euro tallies, Hampden visits, player of the season, signing the season, manager come the end of the season. What were the shouts online?
So we'll start off where we'll finish. Majority are saying third. Outside of Ross Mannins, he said second, which I'd love to be what Ross is on. Also, we had Craig SO603 who said fourth, which again, as we've spoke about in the community chat, I suppose when you're in Europe, you always finish fourth in a sense. So, points tally in Europe, it varies. The majority is 6 and 7 essentially, which, as we discussed earlier in the chat as well, that should be enough for a playoff spot.
Yeah, we've got a genuine chance of getting Europe past Christmas.
I forget that, and then Hampden shouts. It varies between 2 and 3, but good luck. That's a thing. Player of the year, majority is just genuinely saying Shankland. Few changes, exceptions being we have a Kent shout, we have a Xander Clark shout, and we also have a Kingsley shout. And then best signing, majority is Taylor or Danda, with someone else saying Spittle, which I seen earlier, which surprised me after what we've seen, but I can't remember his name. So and then everyone's basically saying manager will be Naismith.
So same on the community chat as well. Most are saying third, a couple of mentalists saying second, but no surprises are out there.
William Corbett included.
William Corbett included.
Said second, didn't he?
Did
to the moon.
He must have been on the strong stuff tonight.
I've told you before. He is the opposite of me. He's the polar opposite from me. I've told you. He still watches the '86 last game of the season and thinks Hearts can win the league. He is the number one pack lunchbox signer
Just
Gorgie loves it.
Been printing Hunter's Nike Hearts tops.
He's sitting in the house right now making his own fake Hearts tops as we go. Like,
cool. Others on the community chat for points. Some people are saying it's tough because you don't know who you're going to be playing against. But really, you should be looking, as Tam said with Twitter, you're looking at sort of between 6-7 points. Some folk are saying 4. Hampden visits again from there's nothing really different from what it's saying on Twitter. 1, 2. Some people committing to 3 visits to Hampden next season, or this season, whichever we want to look at it. With possible, I guess that's a final in there as well. I'd love to see us win the League Cup because we've just not done it. I know it's a Diddy Cup and we didn't really give 2 shits about it, but
you've seen it before, though, Kev, no?
No, mate, no. So get it right up, you wee twat.
Strong.
A T-ball. You flipping twat.
Most people saying Shanks, of course, for Player of the Year. With somebody, I can't remember who it was, being full of the joy saying, if he's still with us. Absolute wank. That was. Taylor and Danda, again, just as Tam said on Twitter, for best signing. I don't think any of us here would argue on those particular points at this moment in time. I know there's still a number of weeks still in the transfer window, but we still got another 5 weeks or something like that. So
end of August.
I don't know.
I think it's end of August, isn't it? End of August. Usually closes.
5 and a bit weeks.
And then again, Naismith is the clear outline in regards to manager coming into the season, with only one absolute retrograde, Keir Robertson, saying it would be Liam Foxy Fox. I don't know if we class that.
It would be Corbett. So.
Aye, but I wasn't even going to stoop to that. I wasn't going to stoop to that particular level. However, I am actually going to ask Corbett, does Keir saying that it would be Liam Fox, does that give him a strike in the community chat?
No, he's all right. He's all right, because he's not far off what I'd predicted. Let's get that. Right, might as well then, Tam. Where are Hearts finishing in the league? And you keeping score of these so we can laugh at ourselves at the end of the season?
Mate, I've already pressed the record button for this, especially because I think the last 2 seasons we haven't noted them down, just so we could have a laugh about it. But I'll make sure we do it.
Set as a reminder for May the whatever next year.
Right. Shut up, Tam. Just
cool.
Just go, mate.
I'm going to say we finish 4th.
Okay. Kev?
Yeah, 4th.
Ando?
Obviously, it's 3rd.
Same boat as you, Ando. 3rd. And I'll say, since everybody says I'm a negative Nelly, if Hearts finish 3rd this season, I think that is a bigger achievement than finishing 2nd under Vlad. Now, the reason for that, the European load, the amount of games that we're playing, where we've been over the last few years, it changes everything in terms of where we stand in Scottish football, in terms of Aberdeen being the 3rd best club, us being the 3rd best club. To go back-to-back 3rds, balance European football and be best of the rest outside the Old Firm, I think it puts all of that yo-yo club stuff to bed. It takes all of that stuff out. It changes the short-term narrative of their recent history to that there is no argument that Hearts are the 3rd best team in Scotland. It gives us guaranteed European football again next season. I think next season's the last season of group stage football, depending on what happens with the coefficient and all of that sort of stuff. So again, you stranglehold it. And since our demotion to the Championship will have come back, we would have been 3rd, 4th, 3rd and 3rd. Again, Aberdeen have been on some good runs, and Motherwell finished 2nd, and Aberdeen have finished 2nd with Rangers out the league, or Rangers not being anywhere near where they are now, back to themselves as they were growing back up the leagues. For us to go back-to-back 3rds, 3 out of the last 4 years, finishing 3rd, given the strength of Celtic and Rangers now, I think it separates us from the rest quite massively. So I think it would be an unbelievable achievement if Hearts finished 3rd. And I think I've seen enough from Naismith. I trust Naismith a hell of a lot more than I ever trusted Robbie Nielsen. So, yeah, I'm saying third. Right. Euro points tally, Tam, what are you saying?
I'll caveat by saying we'll be in the conference and we will get 7 points.
Julio, Kev?
6.
Ando?
5, 1 win, 2 draws.
7. 2 wins and a draw. There we go. That's Corbett's prediction.
We're all saying conference, or are we thinking Europa
Conference, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Conference for me. Conference for me. Right, Hampden visits, Tam?
2, all in the Scottish.
Okay, so we're getting to the Scottish Cup final.
Exactly.
Okay. Kev?
I'm going 1.
Okay. Ando?
4.
Nice, we're getting to both the cup finals, are we?
Correct.
Winning
Nice.
both?
That's a different question.
we never asked that. I don't think we'll get to Hampden at all. So there you go. Zero visits for Corbett.
Fair.
Fuck's sake. Corbett, what are you even here for? Come on, maybe
7.
Just like I say, I'm just being realistic.
7 points in Europe and 0 visits to Hampden. It's actually probably more likely than any others.
That's your ticket, to be honest.
See, so what? So with that. If right now, yes, I'd take it.
Right. Player of the year, Tam?
Shankland.
Kev?
Yeah, Shankland.
Ando?
Not Yandanda.
Right.
So it's either going to be Lawrence Shankland or David Dickinson, who gave us the most VAR and decisions and all that shit from a refereeing perspective last year. But joking aside, I don't know, because my stance when it comes to new players, Yandanda's going to prove me wrong straight out the bat. I reckon he'll be our player of the season because I'm not convinced.
Well, I was going to say I'm not going to say Shankland. I'm not convinced Shankland will be a Hearts player at the end of August. So
yeah,
I'm going to say Vargas. I'll say Kenny Vargas or Taylor because I love South Americans. They're my favourite people on planet Earth. Right, signing of the year, Tam?
Taylor. 100%.
Kev?
Yeah, Taylor.
Ando?
Tanda.
Taylor. Just because he's South American and I love South Americans. He'll be superb. Right, Tam, manager come the end of the season.
Naismith, easy.
Kev?
Just because Shanks isn't with us, I'll say Neil McCann.
Why not? We need someone to shout Neil McCann. Well, the caveat to that is, Kev, that Neil McCann is the reason that Lawrence Shankland doesn't sign a new deal because he's his agent. So he's not allowed to be the manager of our football club. Right, Ando?
Correct. Full house for sensible people. It'll be Naismith.
Same. Snap. It'll be Stephen Naismith. And I think the Lawrence Shankland transfer saga of last January and this summer will become the Stephen Naismith saga next summer, because I think we'll have suitors for Stephen Naismith come next season is where I see it. So there you go.
Can I ask a question on your predictions, Corbett?
Yes.
So you said third, but you think Shankland will be gone in August. Do you still think we'll finish third?
I think so.
Fair.
I think so. I think we'll force us to play differently. And I think that I think we've got enough. Young Kenneth is going to be our goal scorer.
I'd love that, to be fair.
Same. Cool. Right. Well, it's good to be back in it. And there was a lot of unloading there of being a very built up 2 months waiting on Hearts to return so I could get my anger out. We've done well.
We have.
So this season we're going to start posting some pre-match and post-match stuff onto YouTube, on social medias as well. If you're in and around Gorgie or any of the away days, come and say hi if you see us and give us your predictions as to what's going on. We've been looking for, we put it in our community chat, we'll probably put it to social media as well, that as the European games kick off, we'll probably be looking to see if anybody wants to vlog for us on the away trips. We'll obviously try and make as many of the away trips as we possibly can, but where we can or where you can go, it would be good to get your perspective, fan perspective, your travels and how you get there and your match days and squares and in the ground and all that stuff. So get in contact with us if you're interested in being part of it.
Shanks, this does not apply to
Shanks.
you.
And we'll probably run, like we did for the last European Games, we'll probably do some watch-alongs back somewhere in Gorgie for the folk that can't afford to go, because like we just said, we're going to have at least 4 European away days, so it's going to be pretty pricey. So we'll look to try and have beanbacks somewhere in Gorgie, and we'll at least be able to watch it together if we can be in some European square somewhere.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool. Right, boys, it was good to see you. I'll see you all on Saturday for Tears and Snotters. Here we go.
I will. See you then.
Here we go.
Hey. Gorgie out.